Hello, my friends. Dr. Gabe Roberts, the subconscious healer, today with another message of breaking free from chronic pain. Before we get into that, let's simply take a moment and just give ourselves, our brain, our nervous system a signal of peace. And how do we do that? Placing all our attention on our heart center. First step. 3 slow, deep breaths where we exhale longer than we inhale for. So I like to breathe in for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 6. Simply repeat that 3 times. I invite you to do that with me here. Now we finish this off with recalling a memory in our life when we really felt grateful for something. Allowing ourselves to step into that moment, see what we saw, hear the sounds we heard, and feel the feelings of gratitude. Just let them resonate through our body, almost like the gratitude is just kind of sprinkling on top of our body like a shower. Just allow that gratitude to just flow in to you and through you. And those 3 steps are a great way to produce coherence in your brain and in your body, between your heart and your brain, with benefits that last up to 6 hours. Very important because our nervous system is just like an alarm system. And it's done very well for us in the past when we were, living on a different plane generations ago, more like hunter-gatherers and, living on the elements, exposed to environmental, changes in weather and environmental predators, many other things. Our brain and our nervous system, like an alarm system, did really great for us to guide us, teach us when we were potentially against any life-threatening exposure or stimuli. Fast forward that today in modern times with our technology and all the things we're exposed to, and the brain is constantly still sifting out all this environmental stimuli and making meaning from it. Most of the time, the meaning is not so good. The brain is still working as if it did thousands of years ago, operating from the standpoint of keeping you safe. But today, everything's changed so much that keeping you safe, keeping you safe from what exactly, right? And it's important to recognize that the brain can perceive things as being unsafe in ways that you could never even imagine or grasp or even have an awareness of. I've worked with clients that their brain has learned that disappointing others is dangerous. I've worked with clients that have learned through, if I heal, that means I'm unlovable. That's right. If I heal, I'm unlovable, and that means I'm unsafe. So what will that person do? They will naturally sabotage anything that comes into anything that comes their way. They'll naturally, unconsciously sabotage it in order to keep the brain's perception of safety active and going. Now, obviously, there's a lot of long-term consequences from this, but the foundation is still there. The brain perceiving threats, the brain perceiving danger. In the case of chronic pain, the story is almost all the same. Chronic pain is when the threat system within the brain's alarm system actually malfunctions and stays active. Now, think about it. It's equipped for times long ago, not for these modern times. So when the brain's threat response stays active, it will produce symptoms as its only way of communicating to you that something is wrong. And oftentimes we're so quick to try to silence these symptoms, try to get rid of them, try to diminish them, try to mask them, that the message of the brain not feeling safe goes unheard. And so the brain naturally will step up its efforts to get your attention. This is the case in chronic pain. There is a malfunctioning or a miscommunication in the signaling between the brain and body somewhere. Now, this doesn't mean your symptoms aren't real. This does not mean your physical pain doesn't really hurt. All pain is real. Symptoms are very real. The pain is very real. But what's causing it? And problem is doctors all too often will treat the body when it comes to chronic pain. I'm a chiropractor, I know this. You see somebody with chronic pain or fibromyalgia, chronic back pain, chronic sciatica coming in, it's always the same. Let's work on the body, let's adjust the body, let's do gentle work on the body. TENS units or Graston or anything you want to throw at it. And all too often the interference that we're trying to remove is an internal job. The interference that we're trying to remove is an internal job. What do I mean by internal job? Teaching the brain that it's safe. Teaching the brain that you are actually safe. When this happens, symptoms go away. My first client this morning, working with her, going through some processes, she actually had this real strong experience of nausea. Suddenly, sitting there working, nausea, almost like she's about to vomit. What would cause that? Her brain. You see, when we are going through and working with certain ideas and certain things that have happened in our past and perceptions, shifting perceptions, her brain comes across something that it viewed as so dangerous that it actually, as a protective mechanism, clicked on the nauseous, so she would immediately divert her attention to the nauseous and avoid dealing with whatever it saw as dangerous. And in this case, dangerous was simply, dangerous was disappointing others. Something that simple. I know of cases where their brain has interpreted healing as being dangerous. Can you imagine that? The brain interpreting healing as being dangerous? How would this go about? If our brain and body's only role is to protect us, how could something like healing and health and vitality be viewed as dangerous? Simple. When we regress to cause and find out where this person learned this, they're a little girl, and their mom tells them this: I like you better when you're sick because you're not in my way as much. You're less of a burden when you're sick. What's that teach the child? What's their brain immediately learn and make a decision about? I'm lovable if I'm sick. Mom accepts me more if I'm sick. So now what happens to the brain? Anything related to health and healing and vitality is viewed as dangerous. So therefore, the person's going to sabotage all their efforts in order to stay sick, having no idea why. And everything about their external life is perfect. No mold, no gut problems, they're really good on their B vitamins and all their nutrition, their detox pathways. They're doing everything, taking all these supplements to ensure their body is nutritionally sound and functioning accordingly. Not one bit of it's working. Why? Because the brain views all of these as dangerous. So what do you have to do? We have to retrain the brain that health and vitality are in fact safe. And that's a whole process. We're going through those processes right now in our Breaking Free groups. Okay, we meet twice a week. We sit down. We go through these things. We analyze them. We see them for what they are. We act as detectives, collecting evidence, building a case. Once we have that, we start teaching the brain that it's safe. When the brain feels safe, it turns off the symptoms. It's that simple. If this is something that resonates with you, if you're interested in breaking free from chronic pain, chronic symptoms, I highly encourage you to join our Breaking Free group. Again, we meet twice a week through groups. And we are right now working on reframing emotions. I can't tell you how powerful that is. Teaching our brain that emotions are safe. That's really, really important. That's something everyone in our culture should go through before they start taking more green smoothies and more detox supplements and things to get rid of parasites. The most important thing they should do is teach their brain that emotions are safe. It dates back so far that even traditional Chinese medicine practices recognize that the real pathogens are repressed emotions, right? So there's a real wisdom to this kind of understanding. For more information, join our Breaking Free group, and I look forward to seeing you there, and we're going to have some amazing breakthroughs. We'll see you soon.